It is Wednesday, the 6th of April, 2022, and this is a live episode of Life with Sharon, Midday Motivation. Thank you for joining me, my midday warriors, hanging in there. It is hump day. We are getting through the week. It's already April the 6th. Time waits for no one. So we're going to get headed toward the goals that we want to accomplish for the second quarter of 2022, and we've already begun. We're 6 days in. So I hope you are revising, reassessing, and assessing and reassessing those goals that we talked about in the first quarter. At the end of the first quarter, reevaluating the beginning and getting a jump start on what you want to accomplish in the second quarter of 2022. Your goals are important and they are accomplishable, which is a part of our subject matter today, which is think, believe, become. As a man thinks, so he is, right? And so our thoughts have power when we believe them, and we can become what our thoughts are. And so we're going to get into that in a few minutes. But those who are watching, please subscribe to the page. We are on Full Life Communications on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. We're not broadcasting live on Instagram. We're broadcasting live on YouTube and Facebook. But it's the Full Life Communications page. Please subscribe to the channel, like the feed, share the feed, and click the notification bell so you can be notified whenever I'm on. And you don't have to think about it. You'll just get a notification like, oh, let me watch Life with Sharon, Midday Motivation, and whatever else comes on this channel and on the Facebook page. So thank you again for watching Full Life Communications. Think, Believe, Become is our subject matter today. And so our thoughts shape our world. How we think is so important. It is key. And you can tell how a person thinks by what they say out of their mouth. We tell on ourselves and oftentimes don't even realize how much we tell on ourselves with the words that we choose to use, the phrases that we choose to put together, the sentences that we string together. And so how we think comes out in our speech. Everything that we think does not need to be said. But that's a whole other show. So when we want to accomplish something, what we want to achieve, it starts with a thought. Everything starts with a thought. And it goes whether it's negative or whether it's positive. So you want to think about the outcome. You want a negative outcome, then let your thoughts be negative. If you want a positive outcome, then let your thoughts be positive. So since we are on this platform to achieve great things, the greatness that's locked up in all of us, we just have to tap into it. We have to allow our mind to line up with those goals that we want to achieve. Doesn't mean every day is going to be perfect. It does not mean that. But what it means is I can train myself in my thoughts to speak, to think and speak what it is that I want. And so if I want to be, well, let me just use myself as an example. I've always wanted to be a counselor, be in private practice since I was probably middle school. And so that was my goal. So that's what I confessed. That's what I thought. And then that's what I said out of my mouth when people would ask me, what are my career goals? So that's what I said. I thought it, I said it, and now I've become it. I've been a professional counselor for a while. I've been in private practice for a while. I accomplished that goal because it was the thought that I had in my mind. And then I lined myself up with that thought in my behavior, meaning the goals that I set as far as schooling and things of that nature, in order for it to come to fruition. And here I sit as a counselor in private practice. I have other goals as well, such as media goals. And I started doing media in the 90s, doing a live television show in Philadelphia. And that wasn't so much in my thought process. It was an opportunity that came along, and it's something that I knew that I could do well based on, my passions and what I like, and the message that was being brought forth on that show. But after that, I knew media was in my future. How long, how it would take shape, I didn't know. But as I became more spiritual, the Lord revealed to me that this was a part of my future. And so I began to line my thoughts up with what it is that I knew, didn't know all the ins and outs, but I knew media, television, and then live streaming. Didn't know that part until the Lord led me to it. And radio was in my future. Well, I started doing radio years ago for 7 years, pay for airtime. And so then, doing media things and then putting the shows that I did on social media platforms live. And here I sit now doing the next leg of these shows live. And eventually I will be on television. Now you heard it from me. My people who know me, they already know that. But people in replay land, people who may be watching live, don't know that. But you have heard it from me right here. So when you see me on television, I've already been on television, but when you see me on television again, those who didn't see me the first time, you'll know that I had the thought. I began to confess the thought, and I believe what I think, and it shall come to pass. I will become that television personality, however it works, when that time comes. The time isn't right now. Right now is the time for me to do this, but that will come. You know why? Because I think it, I believe it, and I know I'm going to become it. And also, too, I know it's God's purpose in my life. And when we line up with what we were created to do, God's purpose in us, it can't help but to come true. So when you begin to line up with what you were created to do, you're golden. Doesn't mean the road is easy, because again, life has its challenges. But you begin to think that thing and believe that thing, you will become that thing. Now, again, the same thing works with the opposite. So that's something positive, a positive example I gave you about myself. But how many times have we thought negatively? And we began to believe those negative things about ourselves. And then we became that negative thing. Or someone spoke negatively about us, say in our childhood. And so we began to take on those thoughts, right? Because that's how it happens, right? And then I began to take on those thoughts. I began to believe those thoughts. And then I began to become the thoughts that I thought. That's how it happens, whether in the positive or the negative. It happens on both sides. That's why you have to be very careful, because your words, your thoughts, and your words have power to shape your world. So that's one of the main premises of why I do this show, Midday Motivation, as well as other shows on this platform, because I want us to come up in our thinking, change our mindset from more of the negative to the positive. And I'm just using negative and positive as a catch-all, as catch-all words. But you understand what I'm saying. We have to come up in our minds to achieve the goals that we say we want to achieve, not even what others have for us. We say we want wealth. We say we want to have a business. We say we want to be entrepreneurs. We want a certain profession. Okay, well, is your speech lining up toward that? Are your actions lining up toward that? And if they're not, every day that you wake up with a fresh 24 is a day that you get a fresh start to begin to think differently. So today, begin to line your speech up with what you think and believe what you think, not the negative. We're not even going to go there. We're going to believe the positive of what it is that you want to achieve. So begin to think of what you want to achieve in all aspects of your life, for your family, for your spiritual life, for your career, your education, social life, everything. What it is that you think, believe that you can have it, and then set your goals in the direction to achieve what it is that you want to achieve. And the manifestation of that will come to pass. How long it takes is different for everybody, depending on what it is that you're doing, depending on when you start, depending on who you have in your inner circle and who's influencing you, how much, negativity you may still have in there, self-doubt and things of that nature, because those things help to put us behind when we continue to doubt. Stop doubting yourself. Greatness is already in you. God doesn't create anything that isn't great. We just have to tap into it. It's already in you. So begin to take on a new mindset and think positively about who you are and what you were created to do. What's your passion? What do you want to change in life? Because you see that this area needs improvement and you have an answer for it. Begin to think it and believe that you have the answer for that. And whatever that is, confess it every day. I am this. Not going to be that, because that constantly puts it off into the future. I'm going to be. No, I am. Speak it into existence right now. Not I will, I'm going to be. I am. And then chart your course to be that thing. So really, that's the message for today. Thank you so much for watching. I see that people are watching, but if you don't say something in the feed, I can't shout you out, so I can't say anything. But I thank you so much for watching. I hope you got the message today to think, believe, and you will become. And we're going to put it in the positive realm. It works in the negative, but we're not talking about the negative because we want you to achieve greatness. And that's a positive thing. So think, believe, become. I'm doing it. Others are doing it. You can do it too. Thank you for those who are watching on the replay. I really appreciate you. You can watch this any time of day. The information is always relevant. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow, this information will never not be relevant. So I appreciate you for watching on the replay and those who are watching live. Thank you so much. Please join me tomorrow when I talk about how to manage our emotions. We can't control our emotions per se, but we can do a better job of managing them, regulating them, because oftentimes our emotions are driving our behavior because we don't have that middle ground time to think before we react because our emotions are so powerful. But there are ways that we can better manage our emotions so we have a better outcome in our behavior. So that's what we're going to talk about tomorrow. I thank you so much for joining me today on another episode of Life with Sharon, Midday Motivation. Think, believe, become. God bless you. Have a God day. Shalom.